Hi, Major League Fishing Bass Pro Tour, Brent Chapman here. We're down here in not so sunny Florida at Bass Pro Tour event number 2 down here at Lake Okeechobee. We're gearing up, getting ready for Lake Okeechobee, but let's go back a few weeks and talk a little bit about Lake Eufaula and Bass Pro Tour event number 1. What an awesome way to start the season. Got out of there with a 6th place finish. It was a week where there was a lot of uncertainty. The fish were still, a lot of them in that winter mode, some of the fish moving up shallow. I didn't really know what to expect. I don't have a lot of experience on Lake Eufaula, so just went down there with an open mind, and for myself, I love to fish shallow, and there's one thing I've always learned, there's always fish shallow. So I'd kind of made up my mind I was going to fish shallow down there. Got down there, and water was pretty stained. They've had a fair amount of rain down there, and so with the off-colored water, I even had more interest to stay in shallow. And got out there, and practice overall was fairly tough. I found 1 or 2 areas that I felt like had a fair amount of fish in them. Caught some fish on a bladed jig and some on a little swim bait, but and a couple on crankbaits. But for the most part, it was quite a grind, and I'd kind of committed to just committing to those areas with a lot of fish, and just was going to go in and fish them. And the last day of practice, late in the day, night before the tournament, had about 4 inches of rain. And I've seen water get muddy over the years and all that, but literally overnight the lake, this massive lake, came up to about 2.5 feet, and the area that I was planning on fishing had turned to complete red looking chocolate milk. I mean, it was just nasty. And in our takeoff that morning, we have about 30 minutes before lines in, so we go, I run to the first spot, and I literally see that where we went from about 6 inches to a foot visibility down to, you couldn't see that. The water looked about like my gloves did here, so it was pretty dirty. So at that point, I literally just had to go to plan B. I ran down the lake a fair ways to where I'd had a few other bites, and got down there and literally spent, I think, the first entire period without a bite. The second period, towards the beginning of it, I finally catch 1 bass, but it wasn't a scoreable bass, and basically managed to go that whole second period without a bite as well. And it was a very, very tough deal. Finally, into the second period, or the third period, I finally found where some little bit cleaner water is. I finally ran back up to where I'd caught my fish and found a little bit cleaner water, and that's where I caught my 2 fish to cap off the day, and it at least gave me some hope. Fast forward to the next day, same thing, got in there, the area that was clean had gotten dirty, and basically I did a lot of hunting that first and second period till I finally found some cleaner water and managed to put like 20-some pounds of bass in the boat in the final period. So it was a big way to move me up the standings. I made it into the knockout round, and the knockout round, that's what it was for me. It was a knockout for sure. Got out there and caught some good quality fish. Ended up catching the big fish of the tournament. I caught an 8-pound, 15-ounce bass, which was just awesome. I mean, this thing was a tank of a fish, and to catch that fish to make it into the finals was just absolutely all that a guy could ask for. And then to go out that final day, found out the water had gotten muddy where I'd caught that fish, which was really frustrating because I thought things should get clearer, and I think it's because they slowed the water flow down, it pushed that mud back into those areas and got a little bit tough. So managed to at least catch a few fish that final day, get out of there with a 6th place finish, and great way to start the season. Fast forward, here we are. We've had 2 days of practice under our belts here at Lake Okeechobee, and they were perfect Florida weather. Sunny, in the 80s, very light winds, and guess what? There's a tournament starting today, and Mother Nature throws us a curveball. They're calling for, this is day 1, so we've got Group A fishing on days 1 and 3. I'm Group B, I fish days 2 and 4, but Mother Nature threw us a curveball last night. We've got north winds blowing 20 to 30 with gusts even higher, and good day for me to be working on tackle, and I'll get out there tomorrow, but they're still calling for high winds tomorrow. So should make it interesting. Looking at Score Tracker right now, the bite's pretty tough out there, but you know what? I'm all right with tough bites. I know, I'm going to know by the end of the day that I'm going to have to get out there and grind it out, hopefully put a few fish in the boat tomorrow, and then capitalize and build off of that in the final day, or our second day, and then hopefully make it into the knockout round and hopefully another championship round. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed and hope for a good event.